Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this world. This is Hejin Lee with a morning update for Bitcoin. Last night, right before the daily candle closed, as well as weekly, it just started going vertical. It was pretty oversold, and price did do a bullwhip, not as deeply as I wanted to, and I'll show you the fractal comparison in a little bit. And it just went vertical and came out and breached the upper blue line. And that breach so far has stayed. And I think this is doing a five wave up. And that impulse is pretty important. The waves will look like this. One, two, three, four. This could be WXYZ, it could be ABC for now. Five. And this five wave is pretty important because the earliest indication of a trend reversal is provided using an impulse motive. Now, there are other ways of labeling it. For example, I can say 3 is here, 4 is here, 5 is done. Good. And we're working on wave 2. Wave's going sideways already. And this could be WXYXZ. Keep going sideways. But usually the WXYXZ isn't that common at such a micro 30-minute scale degree of trend. But I'll post it just to keep the awareness. And if this is a WXYXZ, then we go one more dip down, maybe to 8120 or so, or 8100. And then it should still start trekking back up. So this can become 1, 2, and then 3 of a higher degree of trend could come in and bring the prices hopefully to the 9,000 area. Now here is a bigger picture. See, from the very prior high, there was a big ABC for the A blue A, another ABC for B, AB, and then we got an A, B, C, D, E. This B should be here. A, B, C, D, E for C. And we had noted also this fractal between these triangles. A, B, C, D, E is finished and price broke out. But if we look at the blue A, B, C, then E, I'm sorry, D should be next. And this D, if the trajectory is correct, should be somewhere around 9,400 to 9,700 to maybe 8,900. 9,700 to 8,900, almost $1,000 difference in the range where you can touch it for the D. And then one more decline for E. Now here was that fractal. All the touch points were matched. I had expected a deeper drop per the fractal, but the bull wick was very small. No worries. Fractals are similar, not exact. I expected a deeper push down, but still, keeping to the V-neck, that's pretty much what it was. Even from here, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. The other touch points were pretty well on. Now, from a fractal point of view, once it broke out, it continued higher to the prior peak level over here, which was 11,800 or so. So if it goes to the prior peak level, that'll be about 9,800 they can go to. Now this is a chart that I really like. So let's go with the MACD first. The MACD is curling upwards. And if this can continue curling upwards and cross, just like it did here, cross the MACD, the white line is a 12-day moving average. The red line is a 26-day moving average. So obviously the white line will turn faster and earlier than the red line, which is more lagging. So if this white can turn and cross and give a buy signal like it did back here, that'll be pretty bullish. So keeping an eye on that would be good. This is the logarithmic chart, by the way. This was the long-term trend line that I said that it was paramount for the support to hold. It had to hold the support. And it did so far. It bounced off. But the wedge was very attractive as well. Very attractive looking. Now, one thing I want to introduce and keep here is if we get rid of these lines, let's get rid of the support line for now too. This whole thing was a big correction. If we now look at it from the perspective of an impulse, this was wave one. We could have just finished wave two. And while premature to consider this, but then again, this count has never been invalidated. I had presented this count weeks ago, three weeks ago. And this was 1, 2. What's next? After wave 2 is wave 3. Let's go linear, sorry. I've now turned off the logarithmic chart. Time frame is too short to start labeling in logarithmic waves. So again, this is wave 1, 2. This is a logarithmic support. If I have 1 here, 2, then I'm going to make wave 3 2.618 of 1. So here's 1. I'm eyeballing it, 2.618. I'm going to bring that to around July. 4 retraces 38% of 3. It'll probably touch the peak here. 5 I'm going to make equal to 1.5. So that's 1.5. That'll bring us to 27, 28. And this is clearly not a minuscule degree of trend. So going back to what I said earlier, this count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 1 and 2, it was never invalidated because this wave 2 would only be invalid if it equaled the origination of 1 or below it. That would be invalid. But meanwhile, the whole wave was still valid. And this wave 2, white wave 2, turned out to be a wedge, downward pointing wedge. Which has broken out. And this was an A, B, C, D, E, beautiful wave 2. And the retrace was approximately almost to the 0.78, just about. That's about where the apex was, as it is anyways. All right, so let's now go back to the bigger picture that we had. July time frame or so, 38. This should be mid-September-ish. So the timeline that I'm giving is, yeah, by July-ish or so, we should be well past all-time new highs. By early June, we should be at or equal to the all-time highs. So I wanted to share this with you guys that the 1, 2 was never invalidated, it's still in progress. Even while we still have A, B, C, D, E, the whole thing could still be a 1, 2 in progress. So let's keep this in perspective. It has not been invalidated. All right. I hope you found this to be helpful. Let's see how today's price action goes, and I'll certainly be putting up some additional updates. Have a wonderful Monday.